Ridge Forrester has never been a man of still waters or unwavering vows. In the bold and the beautiful, every time he speaks of commitment, fans brace themselves for the inevitable unraveling. And now, as he walks a tightrope between his allegiance to Taylor Hayes and the ever-present pull toward Brooke Logan, that word commitment has returned to haunt him once more. In a recent episode, Ridge told both Brooke and Eric that he was committed to Taylor. That word echoed louder than any previous declaration. And yet, if Ridge's long, tortured history is any indication, commitment from his mouth is less a promise than a ticking time bomb. Let's get one thing straight: Ridge Forrester has never truly committed to anyone. Not Brooke. Not Taylor. Not Caroline. Not anyone. His version of loyalty is fluid, often dictated by emotion, convenience, guilt, or ego. So when he tells Brooke and Eric that he's committed to Taylor, it doesn't sound like love, it sounds like an obligation. That's not just a red flag, it's an entire fireworks show. Fans of BNB know the pattern. Ridge makes a grand gesture, declares his loyalty, and then, not long after, backpedals into a whirlwind of doubt, longing glances, and inevitable betrayal. This latest commitment to Taylor already rings hollow. How many times has Ridge stood in front of Taylor, staring into her eyes, promising her forever? And how many times has he walked away? Their connection is deep, no doubt, but it's also rooted in history, family ties, and a kind of nostalgic loyalty that Ridge clings to when he wants to appear honorable. But being with Taylor has never fully satisfied him. Taylor is the safe choice, the logical choice. Brooke, however, is the fire. So now we're supposed to believe Ridge has turned over a new leaf? That after all the betrayals, the back and forths, and the tortured glances across Forrester boardrooms and holiday tables, Ridge has suddenly decided to anchor himself to Taylor permanently? Please. The writers have telegraphed this plot twist a mile away. Ridge isn't with Taylor. He's avoiding Brooke. He's trying to silence a part of himself that has never gone quiet, not for decades, not through marriages, not through scandals. What's worse, Ridge isn't just lying to Taylor. He's lying to himself. He claims he's over Brooke, that her betrayal as CEO, whatever that specifically entails now, is something he can't look past. But you don't tell the woman you're supposedly done with that you're committed to someone else unless part of you wants her to know. That phrasing wasn't accidental. It was pointed. He wanted Brooke to feel it. Maybe to punish her. Maybe to test her. Maybe because he wants her to fight back. And here's where it gets complicated. Brooke isn't backing down. In a stunningly bold move, she told Ridge that they'll be reunited by Christmas. It wasn't a question. It wasn't a plea. It was a declaration. And that kind of confidence doesn't come from nowhere. Brooke knows Ridge. She's played this game before. She knows the phases. And she knows that deep down, Ridge doesn't want a commitment. He wants to feel pursued, adored, and needed. Taylor gives him steadiness. Brooke gives him chaos. But it's the chaos that's always drawn him back in. Then there's the wild card, Nick Marone. The minute Ridge even hears Nick's name, his cool demeanor starts to crack. The history between Ridge and Nick is fraught with rivalry, jealousy, and unresolved tension. The idea of Brooke and Nick reconnecting, especially after everything they shared in the past, is like waving a red flag in front of a bull. Ridge may claim he's with Taylor, but if he sees Nick touching Brooke, laughing with her, looking at her the way he used to, he won't be able to contain himself, and it won't just be jealousy. It will be possessiveness. Ridge has always struggled to see Brooke with anyone else. Even when he pushes her away, even when he accuses her of betrayal, the idea of her moving on cuts deeper than he's willing to admit. He's never accepted the idea that Brooke could choose someone else and be happy without him. And when Nick steps back into her life confident, charismatic, and unafraid to fight for her. It could ignite a fuse in Ridge that burns through every illusion of commitment he's tried to build with Taylor. What happens then? Let's imagine. Ridge, watching from a distance, sees Brooke and Nick reconnect. Maybe it starts innocently, a lunch, a shared memory, a laugh. But soon it grows. Nick starts showing up more often. Brooke starts smiling again. The air changes. Ridge becomes distracted, short-tempered. Taylor asks if something's wrong. He says no. But then he starts dropping by Brooke's house under some flimsy pretext. He brings up old memories. He gets nostalgic. Brooke pushes back at first. She reminds him of his promise to Taylor. But Ridge isn't listening. He's too caught up in the old rhythm, in the pull that never really went away. Taylor, meanwhile, begins to notice. Maybe it's the way Ridge pulls away when she kisses him. Maybe it's the way he lingers near his phone, waiting for a text that never comes. Maybe it's the way he avoids eye contact when she says, "I love you." She knows Ridge. She's been through this cycle before. And when she realizes he's slipping through her fingers again, the heartbreak will hit harder than ever. Because this time, he promised. He committed. And still, it wasn't enough. The show is clearly laying the groundwork for this unraveling. Ridge's so-called commitment is already fraying at the edges. The moment Nick arrives and Brooke starts radiating that spark she always had, Ridge will start spiraling. And by the time Christmas rolls around, Brooke's deadline for their reunion, it's entirely possible that Ridge won't just be back at her side. He'll have blown up 2 relationships to get there. The emotional wreckage will be massive. Taylor, humiliated again. Nick, betrayed once more. And Brooke? She'll emerge as the center of the storm, exactly where she's always been. Whether fans love her or hate her, Brooke is the gravitational force of the bold and the beautiful. And Ridge? He's her moon, always orbiting, always pulled back no matter how far he strays. So let's be honest. Ridge isn't committed. He's confused. He's conflicted. He's clinging to the idea of being a good man, a loyal partner, a dependable father. But none of those things align with who he really is. Ridge is a man led by his heart, his impulses, his history. And that history, especially the part with Brooke, will never stop calling to him. Will Ridge keep his promise to Taylor? Not likely. Will he stay away from Brooke? Even less so. And when Christmas comes and Brooke's bold prophecy is fulfilled, it won't be because Ridge made a choice. It'll be because Ridge never had a choice. He was always going back to her. He just couldn't admit it until it was too late. Want me to continue this storyline into the aftermath of Ridge choosing Brooke and the fallout that follows? In the bold and the beautiful, secrets never stay hidden for long. And when they explode into the open, they leave devastation in their wake. The newest shockwave building beneath the surface involves Liam Spencer, who is quietly living with a devastating diagnosis, a brain tumor that is slowly killing him. Unwilling to burden his loved ones or change how they see him, Liam has kept this information close, sharing it with no one. But secrets of this magnitude are never sustainable in the world of B&B, and the truth is poised to erupt, dragging everyone, including his younger brother Will Spencer, into a storm of heartbreak, betrayal, and twisted emotional consequences. Liam's choice to stay silent is rooted in fear, pride, and love. He wants to live what time he has left on his own terms. But when Luna catches wind of the truth, possibly through Bill Spencer, who's never been able to contain explosive family secrets, everything begins to unravel. Luna, always floating through Forrester Creations and closely tied to the families at its center, could be the first outsider to learn of Liam's condition. Once she knows, the question becomes, what does she do with the truth? And the answer, chillingly, may be to use it. Will Spencer, once the forgotten child of Bill and Katie, is now stepping into adulthood with charm, ambition, and a dangerously fragile emotional core. He idolizes his brother Liam both as a moral compass and as a symbol of everything stable in the chaotic Spencer world. When Luna drops the truth on him, intentionally or not, it hits like a hammer. His brother is dying, and no one can stop it. Grief, shock, and desperation close and fast. And Luna? She's suddenly the only person there to help him process it. In his pain, Will reaches out, craving connection. Luna offers him a simple hug, a gesture of comfort, of warmth. But B&B rarely does simple. What begins as a hug in the haze of sorrow slowly turns into something more intimate. Will is vulnerable and Luna knows it. Her motivations may not be pure, and the line between comfort and manipulation blurs quickly. Meanwhile, lurking just outside this emotional chaos is Electra Forrester, whose jewelry line is thriving and whose loyalty to Forrester Creations has sent her on a business trip at the worst possible time. Electra and Will have been circling each other for weeks, flirtations, near kisses, and emotional confessions, but they've yet to cross that final line. Will, trying to show her that he's not just the Spencer kid with a trust fund, wants their first time together to matter. But Electra's sudden absence leaves a void. And into that void steps Luna. Luna, already tangled in her own complicated web of feelings and alliances, sees an opportunity. Maybe she feels genuine compassion for Will. Maybe she's carrying her own secret resentments. Either way, the thought takes shape. If she can seduce Will while he's grieving, she'll own a piece of his heart and maybe control over something bigger. A move like that in the B&B universe isn't just personal. It's power. It doesn't help that Luna's proximity to Forrester Creations gives her knowledge others don't have. She hears conversations in passing. She sees the worry in Bill's face before he says a word. She connects the dots. And once she knows Liam is dying, the narrative starts to shift in her mind. Telling Will isn't just an act of mercy, it's leverage. It makes her the center of his emotional world. And if she plays it right, it could make her the woman he turns to when his entire life feels like it's falling apart. What happens next is inevitable. Will, drunk on grief and confusion, spends more and more time with Luna. The lines between emotional support and seduction blur dangerously. Luna comforts him, gets close, whispers soothing words in the dark. And then, at his lowest, she offers him escape in her bed. Whether Will agrees willingly or is manipulated into it, perhaps even drugged by Luna in a moment of premeditated ambition, remains to be seen. But by the time Electra returns from her trip, the damage is done. Electra walks in on a scene she can't unsee. Will in bed with Luna. The betrayal stings twice as hard because it's layered with grief. Liam's dying, and now the one man who is supposed to be hers has been pulled away in the worst possible way. Her heartbreak quickly turns to anger, and the tension inside Forrester Creations hits a boiling point. Electra demands answers. Will stammers apologies. Luna feigns innocence. But nobody walks away clean. The fallout is immediate and explosive. Will is consumed by guilt, not just for sleeping with Luna, but for betraying Electra before they even had their first night together. He lashes out at Luna, questioning whether she used his brother's illness to get to him. Luna deflects, cries, says she only wanted to help. But deep down, Will starts to wonder, was he a pawn in Luna's game? Meanwhile, Electra withdraws. Her thriving career can't mask the emotional wound, and she starts plotting her own revenge not just on Luna, but on the entire Spencer dynasty. She gave her heart to Will, waited patiently, believed in a real connection. Now she's left to pick up the pieces while the man she wanted is too broken, too confused, and too tainted by Luna's manipulation to be trusted again. Liam, all the while, grows weaker. The The truth about his condition spreads. Brooke, Hope, Steffi, Bill, everyone begins to rally, but the damage is done. Liam becomes more than a dying man, he becomes the symbol of everything falling apart. The family fractures deepen. Spencer's loyalty is tested. And the younger generation will. Luna. Electra spirals into chaos. Luna might believe she's secured her place in the Spencer orbit by seducing Will, but she may have underestimated the price. Because in the bold and the beautiful, every victory comes with a cost. And once Liam is gone, the weight of that loss will ripple through the characters like a tidal wave. Will may never forgive himself. Electra may never forgive him. And Luna may discover that power gained through pain is a dangerous kind of power to hold. One secret started it all, Liam's brain tumor. But that secret didn't just kill a man, it shattered lives, twisted loyalties, and created a new battlefield for the next generation of love, betrayal, and revenge. Would you like a continuation that dives into what happens after Liam's death and how it reshapes Forrester Creations and the Spencer family dynamics?